Just a quick introduction. My name's Mike Hells. I'm the European Product Marketing Manager for TopWorx. TopWorx is a relatively new part of the organisation that's been bought into FLMC. We were bought into FLMC around 2017 and fully integrated within ASCO around 2018, and that's when I joined TopWorx. Previously, I was part of ASCO for a number of years. TopWorx itself has been part of Emerson since 2006. When it first started, it was with Fisher organisation, and it's been around for 70 years. We're in our 70th year this year. Primarily starting with the Go Switch, which is a product that I'll show on the following slides. And then because the product fitted very well within the switchbox industry, we integrated the Go Switch into a switchbox, and that developed the TopWorx brand. As you can see that if you want to ask any questions, just unmute yourselves. When you come onto the call, you're all on mute. I would ask that if you do ask a question, that when you've asked the question, just mute it back. And this will be recorded. So if anybody wants to go over any points or aspects later, then obviously it's on the team site. So what is Industry 4.0? We hear a lot of this. It's one of the new buzzwords at the moment, but really it's to do with the industry state that we are in today. So in part the industrial revolution, we started at 1.0 in the 1700s, which was basically steam power, the start of the industrial revolution, and then into the beginning of the 19th century, we moved on to mass production assembly lines. We had electrical energy, and then moving on to the sort of 70s, we advanced a little bit more into automation. We had computers, electronics, moving forward. And the state we're in today is what's called Industry 4.0. So that's the cyber, industrial Internet of Things, networks. So that's the sort of stage that we're at the moment. So when we talk about Industry 4.0, it's just really the stage that we are at this moment in time. So what is industrial internet? When we talk about industrial internet, that is really part of Industry 4.0, and it's more related to what we are within industry. So when we're talking about cyber, clouds, application, Internet of Things, which protocols. So when we talk about protocols, we're talking about things like foundation field buses, the types of communication that are related to industrial applications. So again, this all forms part of Industry 4.0. So what do we as TopWorx, what do we have to offer, and how does it fit? So predominantly we have two product ranges. The product range that we have is the switch box that we see on the left, and we have the Go Switch. So when we're talking about a switch box, in Industry 4.0 and the industrial Internet of Things, what we're talking about really is advanced feedback. So what we need to do is we need to do something with that advanced feedback, and we need to have a device that can measure certain parameters, and then it can analyze those certain parameters. And when it analyzes those certain parameters, we can set up alarms or actions, and we can react upon those actions. So the industrial Internet of Things is talking about linking all these things together, analyzing the data that you're getting back from your device, and then using that to improve the applications that you're working within, and then to perform actions. Again, with our Inventix team, that they have a very good example of this in terms of being able to measure, to analyze, and then act upon those to do some actions. And those actions include being able to order separate parts, being able to order things to sit into a preventative maintenance schedule. And that's the whole integration. So within our product range, the Switchbox has the Heart 7 diagnostic capabilities. So what we have there is advanced diagnostics. So what we're able to do is we're able to measure how many times the valve has opened, how many times the valve has closed, how quickly it's taken to open, how quickly it's taken to close. And what we're able to do is we're able to analyze this data, and we're able to use this data to be able to perform actions. So again, one of the improved diagnostic capabilities that we have on Heart 7, when we're measuring a switch box, is that what you're measuring is you're measuring points around the action of the switch box. And what this can be done, this can be turned into a rotary action or a linear action. On a linear action, usually we just measure the start point and the end point. With the Heart 7 capabilities, what we're able to do is we're able to measure 5 points across there, and those 5 points make it more accurate. So instead of a linear from 0 to 100, we're measuring more points, and in measuring more points, it makes the product more accurate. It's exactly the same way as some other types of devices work, such as a positioner. So when we're talking about the top end of diagnostics on the applications that we work within, the Fisher device, the DVC 6200, has a lot of feedback. So our device with the Heart 7, it gives a similar, more accurate feedback. So it more accurately reflects what a DVC would give it in terms of feedback. So as we're part of Emerson, the Emerson device that we communicate with, so the device that we use to collate this data, is either Delta V, which is the main system, or AMS, which is the monitoring system. So again, because we're part of Emerson, this integrates quite nicely with these products. The graphical displays are the same across all devices. So if we're looking at, for example, a Fisher DVC, or if we're looking at a Rosemount transmitter, the actual screen that the customer will see will be exactly the same. So he's used to the interface, the interface that he's seen in front of him. And again, to set the variables, the alerts, it's the same device, it's the same system. Not only does it work with an Emerson device, the important thing to remember is that Heart 7, again, is a protocol. So what that means is that it's a communication device that can sit into other people's. So for example, if your end customer is not using an Emerson network, a Delta V, if he's using a Siemens or another type of network, then again, they'll have the ability to collate Heart 7 information, and it'll be a similar interface. It'll be a similar way of being able to set the variables, set the alerts, and look at the trends. And then from that data, what you're able to do is to make your device more efficient, and you're able to set up the alarms. An important thing to remember is that this information here is just collating the information. Each and every application is different. So for example, on an oil and gas plant, you may open and close a valve once a day, once a week, once a month. So the type of alerts that you'll have on that may be different to a food and bev application, where you may be opening and closing the valve every day. So it's all about, when we're talking about the industrial Internet of Things and linking these things together, it's using that analytical data then to be able to look at your device and your process and make it more efficient. So we've just got a question with regards to Heart 7, a remote or wired installation or both. So the Heart device that we're using is basically, it's a wired device. So on the back of the Heart device, it picks that up. If you have an application where a customer is using a wireless network, then as long as you have a power to the device, you can use, for example, the Emerson wireless thumb, and the Emerson wireless thumb, and then develop the Heart device into a wireless application. So again, as well as the integration with AMS, what you're able to do is you're able to configure this device very easily. So it's compatible with an Emerson 475, which is a field communicator, and the latest device, which is an AMS TREX. One of the important features that we have within our product is that it's got the graphical display. So what that means is you don't have to have an Emerson 475 or an AMS TREX. You can set up the device without any other network. The graphical display in the front, you're able to set the parameters as open and close or the 5-point calibration without the need for a separate device. But then when you're looking at the alarms and the information that you get from that, obviously you need some sort of interface to be able to read that. A question that's just come out is that the heart device that we have at the moment, the Heart 7 device is only available on the standard D series, and we are developing the ESDD, which is our partial stroke device. So we will be integrating the Heart 7 with the ESD, but that's in development at the moment, so that's not going to be for this year. It's likely to be introduced at the end of next financial year or around that time. One of the problems with developing such a device is that there's a long time in terms of being able to get the Heart 7 protocol set up and get that approved. So when you've designed a device, then you have to pass it on to the third party, which is the Heart Foundation, and they have to check that everything's working, that it connects with everybody else's device and everything's fine and working. So that's why it takes a long time to develop these type of applications and devices. So as I mentioned, that industrial internet of things and heart marry, there's tens of millions of heart devices globally, enhancing data exchange, capacity, speed, and support over wireless and Ethernet. All of these benefits will be key into constant improvement of efficiencies in the industrial world via the IoT environment. Our IoT device plus heart, it can translate into an intricate and complex set of diagnostics, preventive measures, trend monitoring, and what that eventually does is reduce scheduled downtime and avoid unexpected shutdowns. And as we mentioned, the analytics can be created for every different environment for a switch box. A shutdown valve may have different needs than a food and beverage application valve. With heart, you configure the alarms to suit your individual application. So then you're improving the preventative maintenance, less downtime, along with other IoT devices. You can see more efficiently, so you can link a couple of devices up. So, for example, in conjunction with a shutdown valve, you might have a pressure sensor on there or a temperature, and then using all that data, you can be more efficient in how your process is running and how your analytics will work for you. So along with heart, another protocol that we have is the foundation field bus. And again, we have advanced features on there that you can cycle count, you can measure the stroke, and it's another method. So apart from heart, with the advanced diagnostics, we have foundation field bus, which again is another protocol. Heart 7 is one protocol, and foundation field bus is another advanced protocol. And all that they mean really is the advancements on these protocol means that you have more parameters to be able to monitor, and with those more parameters, you're able to be more efficient. So we've mentioned about the Heart 7 device, and we've had a lot of success in terms of selling this device out. Some of our end users are Galar LNG, Golden Pass LNG, Reliance, Samsung Heavy Industries, LNG export plants. We have Aramco, we have LNG Canada export terminals. And again, with some of the end users, we sell directly through Biffy, through Rotalk, through Flowserve. So again, a lot of our competitors in the Emerson world see the benefits of our Heart 7 device and the fact that we can link up to these protocols. And again, they obviously purchase from us, even though in some realms we're one of their competitors. Okay, so we spoke about the Heart 7 device that we have and the protocol. And now what we're looking at really is a different concept. Because within the Heart 7 device, we've already got the infrastructure and the way to develop a product and to get the diagnostics. But when you're looking at existing products, again, this is not just within ASCO, this can be within your end customers. What have we got to be able to give them the opportunity and the options to integrate into this magnificent world of IIoT? So as you mentioned before, that the most important thing is to be able to get feedback and diagnostics. So if we look at a traditional solenoid valve, the only thing that you have on a traditional solenoid valve is the coil. And what the coil will tell you is whether it's operational, whether you've got, whether it's open or closed. What it doesn't tell you, it doesn't really tell you when the valve itself is actually open or when the moving parts inside are moving. So for example, on a 2-2 valve, the solenoid might move, but the actual internals might not do anything. And again, you're not really able to measure when it's actually open and when it's actually closed, because there can be some some logistics or some changes in that electronic signal. But what we're able to do is we're able to use the go switch to give us a positive feedback. So that'll actually see when the spool's moved, when it's off its seat. And again, what you're able to do is you're able to integrate that into a process where you can read the analytics, and you can see when the switch was activated, when the switch was deactivated. You can see how long it took for that to happen and how many times it took that's taken place. So again, what we're trying to do going forward is we're trying to integrate the Go Switch product into a lot of our products. And thinking about your customers out there, that there may be other applications similar to this where they want to be able to move into this forum of being able to have advanced diagnostics, but it's a simple device, and they need some way of being able to do that. So the Go Switch is a really good solution of being able to measure that. And again, with the Go Switch, because it's very advanced in terms of our technology, means that we can work at very low temperatures, very high temperatures, and another important thing to remember is that can work at pressures. So again, when this is inside the product, it can handle the same characteristics that are actually inside there. So with a normal switch, it might be susceptible to 10 bar pressure, 16 bar pressure, but ours Go Switch can be submersible. It can be submersible up to 2,500 meters, so it's able to withstand very high pressures. And the temperature range is -60 to 204 degrees Celsius. So again, with a lot of other types of switch technology, they're limited in terms of what they're able to sense and what they're able to do. But with our Go Switch, although it's a very simple device in its operation, it's able to work at those extreme conditions, the extreme temperatures, and it gives you, again, a way of being able to integrate the Go Switch product into many other realms. So these are some examples that we've had, and again, some wins that we've had of integrating the Go Switch into existing products. So there's a turbine trip application that we have there. There's a redundant safety operation on a combustion shutoff valve for fuel gas. Again, we're integrating it along with other devices, and what we're trying to do there is we're trying to give more diagnostics, more information back, and using this information, then the customer is able to make it more efficient, or in some cases there may be new legislation or within Europe there may be new certification that you need to comply with. And within an existing device, it may be difficult to go through all the redesign structure of integrating something where what we can do is like in this example, on a combustion gas train, they needed to have proof of closure. So this was United Laboratories. They written into their specification that you need to have this. You need to make sure that it's closed. And in an instance with, like we said previously, with a coil, it doesn't actually tell you whether the device is closed. But integrating this device, then we actually satisfied the United Laboratories conditions, what they needed, and it gave us a solution. And again, this is just an integration of thinking about where we can use this device within many other applications, and how we can satisfy some requirements that a customer may have. So again, what is the opportunity of Industry 4.0 and why Emerson? You know, I've seen in other presentations what they're actually saying is, this moment in time, people are looking at this more and more. They want to be able to have the ability to have this type of device and have this type of technology within their applications. And Emerson, obviously, within all our realms, we're expert partners, and we see that there's a $1 trillion opportunity within this realm in the coming years. And also, we're renowned within this industry, so we've got a number of awards for Internet of Things, the Industrial Internet of Things Company of the Year 2018, 2019, 2020. We've won lots of awards. So again, when people are looking at, a customer or a client to partner up with, then that gives you the recognition that, Emerson is a good company, and that we're very renowned in this area. And when you look at some of the Aventics products that we have now, you look at some of the other Emerson products that we have, using this information, it gives the customer confidence in working with us as somebody who understands the industrial Internet of Things, the industrial 4.0, what's going forward, and what we can do to develop this. So again, looking at our numbers, what we have, number of resources, number of solutions, number of project engineers, it just all points towards that Emerson is the company to deal with. The partners that we have working together, Microsoft, Cisco, Dell, these are all advanced digital partners that we're working with. So it just shows the strength and depth of Emerson as a company, and how we can all work together to improve this. So that completes the presentation. If there's any more questions, I'm very happy to answer any questions. As mentioned, with all these webinars, at the end of the webinars, they'll be available on Teams, so you're able to go over them. The recording that we have today is also recorded, so if you want to send it on to any of your colleagues, and you're able to see the whole presentation. If there's anybody who needs any information on any of the TopWorx products, again, what we'll do is we'll put the general TopWorx email into the chat, and then anybody can send us any information that they need to. But really, I'm just opening the floor now to see if there's any questions. I'm just having a look if there's anything on the chat that I've missed there.
Yes, Mike, here's Helmut. There's only one question coming from Jan. I would like to ask him to directly ask his question. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike.
Good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Hi.
John Vanningen. I was wondering, when you showed us these products, and we have been showed by many people until now, but when I'm thinking, these products are mainly used in the gas and oil industry. They are high priced. They are very, very and extremely accurate, and also But when I look to the other market segments like food and beverage or machine automation, do we have real chances with these kind of products to be successful? Because when you compare it with the signal products they are using now for IFM or Turk or and so on, do we have serious chances then?
Well, when we're looking at heart device, then the heart device gives you all the diagnostics that you need. Again, when you're looking at certain applications, obviously when you're looking at the top end of the switching technology that we have to offer, within the Go switch, we're hundreds of euros. But again, we're bringing our product into a different market space now. When we look at the 52M, which is our M12 switch, it still has all the features and benefits of the precision Go switch. So it works at extreme temperatures, and it's very robust. It's stainless steel. So we have got a device that can work in that area. And again, with food and bev, you've got the things like washdown and and that type of technology. So it does give you an answer. Obviously, when we're looking at an IFM switch or a PNF switch, we're looking at whether they have any issues. So if the customer's having issues with that device because it's an electronic device, and it's quite susceptible to spikes, to conditions, you know, then we have an answer with the 52M to give them, and it's not as cost effective as some of those devices. But again, whenever a customer has to reinstall something again, the cost goes out the window. You know, if you install something 1 year and have to reinstall it again the next year, then the total cost of ownership is increased considerably. So it gives you an option. But every market sector, it depends, because you may have an application which is really critical on a food and bev, and they need to monitor that, and they want to have the diagnostics there. So with something like the Heart 7, it already has the diagnostic capabilities built in, so they don't have to.
Mike, about Heart 7, is that the typical protocol for the gas and oil industry, or is also been used in a segment like the food and beverage or the packaging? Or
historically,
can you say something about that?
Yeah, so historically the food and bev industry has been the low end of the diagnostic spectrum. So what you're seeing a lot of food and bev is ASI, and the ASI protocol is one of the first protocols that was created, and it's not really doesn't give you very good feedback. But what we are seeing is we are seeing opportunities that customers are definitely, you know, they want to improve the diagnostics and improve the capabilities. So we are seeing it, not so much, but again, as we said, there's a $1 trillion you know, market out there that we see, and that's an accessible market. So it won't be in every food and beverage application, and I agree with you that it is a hard sell if you're going into you know, somebody's got a 20-year-old PNF switch and you're going with something that's 2 or 3 times the cost. Initially, it's difficult to be able to sell that, but again, what we need to work upon is in terms of, you know, if you have to replace that once more, the cost of ownership of that $20 is 20 euros is out the window, you know, because every installation may be $200, $300 to use somebody's time to come in to shut your plant down, the loss of production. So it's selling the value of a more secure device, and we've got other things which is obviously within the Emerson realms that we're all aware of. You know, some of the smaller companies, they haven't got the global reach that we have, they haven't got the support, and they haven't got the backing of a large organization, but we have. So again, it's positioning that.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for your information.
No problem.
Okay, Mike, there is another specific food and beverage question coming from Jason Henning. Are you the right contact with regards to dairy applications at TopWorx?
Yeah, just send it to me, and then we can find you the information that you need.
Okay, thank you. Another 2 questions. The first one coming from Alexander Polyakov. can we install Go switch in the steam valve 298 high temperature and 250 degree Celsius for position detection in tire industry?
Okay, so at the present moment in time, what we, again, with all products, we codify it to what we believe the industry wants us to work at. So when we say minus 60 to 205 degrees Celsius, that's because we've done extensive testing at minus 60 and 205 degrees Celsius. I'm not aware that there is any issue at higher, but what we'd have to do is we'd have to go into some testing and we'd have to have a look at that and how it performs. But yeah, again, what we need from you is we need these type of questions. There's an application there where there's a use for our product, and then we can go away and do the testing and be able to give you feedback on that particular application.
Okay, thank you. The last question I would like to ask Arkin Unluk directly because I don't know what is MOQ. Thank you.
Minimum
order. Minimum order quantity.
Okay. So I would like to ask it. So do we have a minimum order quantity request? Yeah. Excuse me.
Not for our products. So again, I think what we're saying there is that you're looking at that as a complete solution. So that solution's already been completed. It was our ASCO Asia team, and we've also had some conversations with because the gas train. I'm part of the process team, but the gas train solution is part of the industrial team. And Stefan Cocciardi is looking at that solution. So it may be that that's a standard offering within the ASCO product range. Okay. And another thing is that just to explain, Heart 7 is not the only protocol that we have. At the moment, we don't have any IO link or that type of protocol, but we also have Profibus, and we're developing Profibus PA again, so you can get advanced feedback. But I would imagine in time that any new protocols that come out or any new technology that's seen to be more integrated into these areas, then we'll, as a TopWorx, as a team, we'll develop that and we'll obviously offer that into our portfolio. Again, people are asking about the heart for DESD. So DESD is the D series partial stroke device that we have. So it's currently in development. It will be available. It's in the final stages. The design and everything is sort of developed. The issue that we have is, as I mentioned, to be able to bring something into these protocols, it has to go through protocol owners. So in this instance, Heart, and what they have to do is they have to take your device and they have to make sure that it integrates with everybody else's Heart network. So not only Emerson, but Siemens, Rockwell, Allen Bradley, anybody who's got an interface with Heart 7, they have to make sure that it works sufficiently within that infrastructure. And unfortunately, that takes some time. So that's the main stumbling block. That's why the ESD device will not be in this year, this financial year, and it's likely to be the end of next financial year when we've got a product to be able to sell. But we're Emerson, so that may change as well.
Okay, Mike. Here is again Helmut. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for asking the questions in the audience. So there are no more chat questions at this time. I would say we are done. Thank you again.
No problem. What I'll do is I'll just before we go, I'll put our TopWorx standard email address into the chat, so that if anybody's got any questions, that can obviously find me directly on the standard Emerson network. But if there's any sort of general questions, I'll just give that email address into the chat. Sorry. Hopefully that's come through. Has that come through?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time, and thanks for the questions and the feedback.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
All.
Mike.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Bye.